Hey there, so my name's Juna, and today I want to talk a little bit about intuition. And I'm an intuitive and a coach. I had kind of a struggle bridging these two worlds of intuition and coaching at first. I just kind of thought intuition is relegated to the more spiritual world and kind of part of the new age world, and then coaching can be much more embodied, much more goal oriented, and applicable kind of in a real tangible world kind of way. And what I do is a mixture of both. I'm an intuitive and a coach, and I weave them together when I work with people. And part of my passion around intuition is that I really feel like the essence of intuition is that it helps us connect with our true self. Um, I think that there's an ego and the mind and a lot of conditioning and a lot of beliefs that we walk around with. We kind of walk around with the mind, the ego, these conditioned beliefs and ideas. And if we get below the layers of that, there's a true essence self inside of all of us. And for some of us, it's easier to connect with and hear this true essence self. And for others of us, it can be more challenging to have access to this true self. And in my experience, intuition it's a tool that helps us directly access our true self and really hear and heed the calling of it, to take certain action that's aligned with our true self, to move towards a relationship or a friendship that's going to be truly aligned with our soul, to move towards a job or a home or an opportunity that's going to be really aligned with who we actually are, and to also move in a different direction, move away from people, situations, experiences that aren't really aligned with who we actually are. So intuition at its essence to me feels like a tool to support us in connecting with our authentic selves, our essence selves, and to take action in alignment with that so we can have a much more congruent life. For me, developing my intuition has kind of been an interesting journey. I naturally had a lot of intuitive gifts where I'd hear things, feel things, see things as a child. A lot of it honestly scared me. And it wasn't until I went to an intuitive school for about 6 years post-college where I really learned to develop this muscle and this gift. And now I offer it to other people. One thing that I would just say about intuition is, when I spent those 6 years in my intuitive school, and it was easy for me to kind of read things and sense things for other people, but when it came to actually seeing things for myself, not only is that harder because we're much more attached, our mind, our ego is attached to a certain outcome, we're scared of what our intuition may say, so it can kind of block some of those messages. But number two, I also found that my self-sabotage would come in. And so the part of me that sometimes intuitive insights would come through around certain things, like it's time to exit this relationship, or it's time to really move towards this direction in your career. And I'd hear those intuitive messages, but the part of me that was afraid, or the part of me that wanted to self-sabotage, would come in and steer me in a different direction. So I often didn't heed the call of my intuition. For years, if my intuition told me something, I'd do the opposite, which is kind of hilarious because now I'm an intuitive, but I spent years actually not following my intuition and learning what happens when we don't follow our intuition. And so I had a lot of challenges. I struggled a lot. There's a myth I also want to kind of break apart around intuition. And there's this idea that as we become more intuitive and we really learn to grow this intuitive muscle, our whole life is going to be rainbows and unicorns and fairies and elves and all sorts of good things are going to happen all the time. And what I would offer is that I think our soul, our essence self, is wiser than that and really does know that part of really living a fulfilled life means growing, and growth entails not only the beautiful parts and opening and expanding to all sorts of good stuff, but also facing the challenges and navigating those challenges and facing our own shadow and our own darkness and summoning the courage to work through those challenges. That's been for me some of the biggest ways that I've grown. And so I think intuition will both guide us in directions where we're going to really grow and expand and they're going to feel really good. And sometimes our intuition will actually guide us into some of our greatest challenges. And that can feel a little counterintuitive, so to speak. But I think that, and it can also kind of, I think, shake up our inner trust. Wait, why did my intuition guide me into this relationship? Why did my intuition guide me in this direction when I was going to face so much pain and challenge? And maybe I most needed to experience some of that pain and challenge. Or maybe I didn't listen to my intuition in the way I thought I should have. So there's so much here about intuition, and I have such a passion for sharing about this topic. I could talk on and on about it. One reason I wanted to post this video is I have an upcoming course on intuition. It's a 6-week course that starts Friday, September 28th, I believe. And it's an online course, so if you have more interest in learning more about it, I'll post in the comments section a link so you can learn a little bit more. I'd love to have you join, and feel free to ask any questions or reach out to me with any questions or thoughts. I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay, bye-bye.